I begin? Yeah, seriously, where do I begin? Should I even begin? I mean, what's it worth? What's it worth doing this review? I mean, what should I say about this film? Oh, how about this? It's a Michael Bay film. No. Much worse. It's a Transformers film directed by Michael Bay. Yeah, I just went to watch Transformers: Age of Extinction and I'm at a loss for words. I'm literally at a loss for words. It's almost impossible for me to say how stupid this film is. I mean, the Transformers movies themselves are all a little stupid. I mean, they started out with actually an okay movie. Then came the first sequel, which the first sequel was terrible. Then they made the other sequel, which was also not good. Now with the new one, I really don't know how to tell you. It's really hard for me to say how stupid this movie is. I mean, I seriously don't know where to begin. Well, if I think about it, Transformers: Age of Extinction is for me like a mix between Transformers: Dark of the Moon and Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. It tries to be a good movie like Dark of the Moon did, and failed of course, but it's as stupid and horrible as Revenge of the Fallen was. It's too much in one movie. Yeah, it's too much. It's like one action scene, then comes another action scene, there's like 2 minutes of talking, there's another action scene, there are just too many action scenes crammed into one movie. That's the main problem with it. And that's actually the main problem with most of Michael Bay's movies. It's like substance over story instead of story over substance. I mean, I myself as a moviegoer, I would rather have a movie with a good story rather than a movie that just crams in one action scene after the other and tries to entertain you. Because in the end, this movie didn't do that. I mean, I could make some comparisons to the earlier cartoons or so, but the thing is, I never watched Transformers cartoons when I was young. I didn't. So I'm not going to be able to compare them to that. So I never was actually. So when the first movie came out, I didn't know a lot about Transformers. So when I watched this movie, I went in there like without any knowledge of anything, and I actually liked the movie. But then I heard, of course, what was made wrong. So I was like, yeah, maybe that's a little wrong, but I still liked the first one. The first one was actually a little good. But for the sequels, I didn't even want to do research because as movies themselves, there's just too much wrong with them. The same with Age of Extinction. I mean, really too much crammed in, and it doesn't focus enough on like the characters, like what they want, and like who they are, what they do with their lives, what they want to do with their lives, or so on and so forth. And even the Transformers aren't fleshed out enough for me. I mean, the only Transformer throughout the series who actually has one small bit of a personality is Optimus Prime. I mean, you could argue that Bumblebee has a little bit of a personality as well, but I never really see his personality. I mean, he's a robot who can't talk, always uses the radio to say what he wants to say, and mostly just serve as a comic relief. I mean, most of the Transformers just serve as comic relief, which I think is I just don't like it. If they just take these robots and only put them in there as comic relief. What I really want is I want really a Transformer that is fleshed out, has a personality, but I don't really think Michael Bay looked into that when he wanted to make these movies. He just said, I'm going to take this from this series, this from another series, cram these in movie, and then people will like it. Yeah, I think that's what Michael Bay's marketing strategy is. Well, I have to tell you, Michael Bay, it's not working, okay? Your films may make money, sadly, But it's not working, okay? We don't like your movies. So please, if you do another Transformers film, which I hope you don't, try to really do it correctly. I'm just really pissed off at this film. I really am. Though, I have to admit, there are some parts of the movie that I actually did like. There are some scenes where they actually try to show a little bit of what the character is like what his personality is and why he's committed to something. But most of them just seem phoned in. It's like they were just put in there when they thought the time is right for those to do something. But, nah, they just seemed in the wrong place at the wrong time. And, well, there are some other parts, like, there are the action scenes. They are pretty good, but actually, they're not really that good. Well, they do look good and are visually pretty well done, but with so many others crammed in there, after a time, I'm just not paying attention to them anymore. They just don't catch my attention. They're not interesting anymore. Now, to the movie's credit, the actors for the specific parts were actually pretty well chosen. Now, I'm not specifically talking about like the young actors like Nicola Peltz. Well, she was fine, but I don't really know. Was there a point to have her in this movie? I mean, was there a point for her character to be in the movie? I don't. No, mostly she's just there to like serve as a reason for her father to keep going. And speaking of her father, Mark Wahlberg, I think, was by far the best actor in the whole movie. Now, it wasn't really perfect as like Oscar worthy, but he is a decent actor, and he's done a good job in this film. But still, even he can't save this film from being awful. It really is awful. So, I can't approve this film. There's just too much wrong with it. I have to disapprove. Well, that's all I gotta say, actually.